Did Iran secretly carry out a nuclear test? That was the question spreading across the internet after startling footage from Iran's state-run broadcaster IRIB triggered a wave of speculation, confusion, and concern. On June 12th, during a regular news broadcast, IRIB aired what appeared to be a simulated nuclear explosion over a city. The 3D graphic showed a bright flash over an unidentified city, followed by a mushroom cloud rising amid plumes of smoke. So from the start, it is worth being clear about what this actually was. A computer-generated clip, not real footage of a detonation. But airing it during a live news program, in the middle of a war with the United States, was enough to set off a global storm of speculation within hours. Even as a simulation, the clip was alarming to watch, and that is exactly why it spread so fast. It looked like the kind of imagery a state might broadcast to send a message. On any normal day, a computer-generated explosion on state television would be odd but forgettable. During a shooting war between Iran and the United States, with the world watching Tehran's nuclear program, the same clip became something far more loaded. People did not see a graphic. They saw a possible signal. Two theories spread online almost immediately, a hack or a deliberate warning, but neither came with proof. A hacked state broadcaster would be a humiliation. A deliberate nuclear message would be a threat. Both theories spread because the timing made people ready to believe almost anything. The uncertainty itself became the story, because no one outside IRIB could say for sure which explanation was true. IRIB moved quickly to contain the controversy. The broadcaster issued a clarification, insisting the footage had been aired due to an editing mistake. An IRIB anchor addressed viewers on air directly, stating that the network had not been hacked and that the clip had been broadcast unintentionally, so the official explanation is straightforward. It was a production error, nothing more. There is no evidence of a nuclear test, no evidence the network was breached, and no official suggestion that Iran was sending a message. By Iran's own account, a mistake made it to air during a tense news cycle. The reason the clip landed so hard is the history behind it. Iran's nuclear program has long been a flashpoint with the United States and the West. Iran maintains that its program is for civilian purposes, while the US and Israel fear Tehran may be secretly working toward a weapon. Trump has repeatedly said Iran must never end up with a nuclear weapon, and that remains one of Washington's core red lines. So, when a mushroom cloud appeared on Iranian state TV, it did not land in a vacuum. It landed on top of years of suspicion, which is precisely why a single editing error could spark a global reaction. What makes the timing even stranger is what Trump said just one day earlier. On June 11th, Trump claimed Iran had agreed never to have a nuclear weapon, even though the documents were still not signed. Speaking to reporters, Trump said, "We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran," adding that it was subject to the finalization of documents that should be done over the next few days, possibly with a signing in Europe. He said, "We have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this." These are Trump's characterizations. The documents, by his own account, were not yet signed.
Just had a big day. I know you'll never be satisfied, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me at all. We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days. Probably have a signing maybe in Europe, and it's a great thing. Stock market's up 1,000 points. That means they like the deal. See, that means they like, if the market goes down, that means they don't like the deal. But it's been up, oil's dropped. Oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before. I said I was in Iowa. It was $1.85 a gallon. I don't know if I'm going to get there, but we're going to get pretty close. It's going to come down, and when oil comes down, everything else comes down. And most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this. So it was a big, very big thing. But we have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape. So we'll see. We'll see. Very good. Should be done. And should be done pretty quickly. They want it every bit as much as everybody else wants it. And I think a lot of good relationships
Two massive waves of Iranian retaliation have sent shockwaves across the Middle East. Tehran claims it launched missiles and drones against a broad network of military targets spanning multiple countries. And at the center of the operation was an airbase tied directly to America's most advanced aircraft. Iran says it struck facilities tied to advanced US-operated fighter aircraft, the symbols of American air dominance in the region. Much of what follows comes from Iranian state-linked media and IRGC statements, and the United States has not confirmed the damage Iran describes. But the targets Iran is naming and the scale of what it claims mark one of the most ambitious operations it has launched since this confrontation began. The centerpiece was Jordan's Muwafaq Salti Air Base, one of the region's most important military installations and a key hub for American air power. According to Iranian state-linked media, Iran fired a heavy ballistic missile barrage at facilities housing advanced US-operated aircraft. If accurate, that is not a symbolic strike. It is an attempt to hit the aircraft that give Washington its edge in the skies over the Middle East. The F-35 in particular is the crown jewel of Western air power, and Iran wants the world to associate it with vulnerability rather than dominance. Naming it as a target is a message aimed as much at perception as at the base itself. The barrage did not stop at one base. Iranian reports said the operation also reached critical military infrastructure at nearby Azraq. Reaching beyond a single base, if confirmed, is significant because it targets not just aircraft, but the wider system that directs them. Together, Muwafaq Salti and Azraq represent a coordinated effort to degrade American and allied air operations launched from Jordanian soil. Iran is signaling that the bases hosting US power are no longer safe rear areas. They are frontline targets, and Jordan, a close American partner, is now squarely in the picture. The Jordan strikes were one piece of a far wider campaign. Iran's Revolutionary Guard announced the first phase of a large-scale offensive in response to fresh US attacks near the Gulf front, claiming that missiles and drones were launched against a wide spread of targets across the Middle East. This is the breadth that makes the operation notable. Iran is not concentrating on a single enemy or a single border. It is claiming simultaneous strikes across several countries at once, demonstrating that its reach extends across the entire Gulf theater. Whatever the actual damage, the geographic spread alone is the message. The named targets stretched across the map. Iranian media pointed to major air bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, and northern Iraq tied to US and coalition operations. These are not obscure outposts. They are key hubs for US and coalition operations, the infrastructure that makes the American military presence in the Gulf possible. By naming bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, and Iraq in a single operation, Iran is sending a direct warning to the Gulf states that host American forces. Their territory, Tehran is saying, makes them part of the war, whether they want to be or not. Iran also reached for the heart of US naval power. State television said Iranian forces also reached toward infrastructure tied to the US Navy's Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. And in a separate statement, Iran's military said it struck air defense and communications infrastructure tied to the American presence in Bahrain. Tehran further claimed that drones were launched toward US naval assets in Bahrain. The Fifth Fleet is the command that anchors American naval operations across the Gulf. Claiming a direct strike on its headquarters, even an attempted one, is Iran signaling that no American asset in the region is beyond its reach. None of this came without a trigger. The escalation followed a fresh round of American airstrikes ordered by President Trump, with US Central Command announcing attacks on military facilities in southern Iran. According to reports, 49 Tomahawk missiles were fired during that operation. Trump warned that Iran would face even more severe consequences if negotiations failed to produce a breakthrough. So the sequence is clear in both directions. The US hit Iranian targets near Hormuz with cruise missiles. Iran answered with a regional barrage aimed at American-linked bases across several countries. Each side casts itself as the responder, and the cycle keeps accelerating.